Hello everybody, this is Walby from walby.deviantart.com with more CAWs from my old SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 game. And this might be something that most of you might not recognize right off the bat, but this is my He-Man and the Masters of the Universe roster for this game, and it's on my profile, which is pretty much the only one that's online. Here we've got Demo Man, who was the original concept for what became Skeletor. Then we've got Vicor, who was the original concept for He-Man. Both of those characters have actually now become figures in the Masters of the Universe Classics line. And of course we've got He-Man, followed by Teela, Skeletor, She-Ra, Evelyn, Hordex, Shadow Weaver from the Filmation cartoon. It's actually the first time I've ever made her too. Man-at-Arms, Rio Blast, who came in later on the original Masters toy line, Beastman, King Hiss. Now he's the leader of the Snakemen. Some people may or may not recognize him. His design's based more on Bruce Timm's artwork in the mini comic. Ram Man, Zodak the Cosmic Enforcer, Faker, Glimmer from She-Ra, part of the Great Rebellion. Snakeface, who's one of the Snake Men. It'd be pretty cool if I could make snakes come out of his head, but unfortunately I can't. Frosta from She-Ra. She was part of the Ethereal Rebels. Count Marzo, who was, he was a bad guy a couple of times in the original Filmation cartoon, and they really fleshed him out in the 2002 remake. Koldar was a one-time character from the Filmation cartoon. He was an ally of He-Man's outside of the Masters of the Universe, or the Royal Palace of Eternia, whichever you like to call it. Clamp Champ, he was the first black He-Man figure to be made. One of the good guys. Squeeze, he was a snake man with these really long arms in his original toy form. Bo from She-Ra, Ninjor, he came in at the end of the original toy line as well, one of Skeletor's evil warriors. Catra from She-Ra, kind of her arch nemesis. Mermista, one of She-Ra's allies of the Ethereal Rebels. Hero, who was actually a concept toy and was supposed to be He-Man's successor in the Powers of Grayskull line, and it was unfortunately canceled, aside from 3 dinosaurs that were made for it. Lodar is a character from the mini-comic Slave City, one of the few villains outside of Skeletor that He-Man has fought, and he gave He-Man a pretty good run for his money. And then we've got Zodak, the Mystic Enforcer, who was in the 2002 series. And yeah, that's it. So let's have a match, shall we? I think I've already shown off He-Man here, so let's do this. Since there was a tendency of a 3-way war, where was he? There we are. There was a 3-way war in Preternium between King Grayskull's forces, who was the ruler of Castle Grayskull, when someone did live in it. He was fighting against Hordex forces, the Horde, and King Hiss's Snake Man for control of the planet. I don't know how that works, but hey, that's their story at Mattel, and they're sticking with it, and that's why we've got that really cool Eternian play set from back in the 80s with the central tower, which was the lion head, and then the Grayskull tower that looked like Castle Grayskull. Might help if I turn the volume back on. And then a cool snake tower for Snake Mountain. So here's King Hiss. And what's really disappointing is that texture on his face, that kind of fishery looking, cracked, wrinkled texture. It's red initially, and you can change the color in this game, but later WWE games, it just stays red. And I have tried to work with it so many times. I think I've even taken a shape to put over it and change the color. And it doesn't work. You lose it. And I don't know why they've just made it one solid color. And Hordex face is, I want to say maybe, oh wow, you're looking at about 5 or 6 pieces. Because his skin is that shiny gray. But yeah, he's got, of course he's got a set of horns on there. And it doesn't really look exactly like the toy. The toy had more of a spiked mohawk. And he had these huge ears. But I figured taking a little bit of creative license there, I think it kept in the essence of what Hordex stood for, which was downright tyranny. You know, he was a despot in Ethereum. And Hordex got the cape off mainly as a throwback to the Filmation She-Ra. I figured his cape would be something that's more for show, and then whenever he finally gets out to fight, he takes it off and really shows what he can do.
And that's a stiff kick. Good height on that leg drop. Oh my, just bursting those capillaries in his chest. Kid, don't try this stuff at home. Absolutely not. These are trained WWE superstars. And even they wind up seriously injured sometimes. A vicious stuff.
You may or may not notice, but Hordex actually has some very stubby feet. I just did this odd shape of his feet mainly because of the strange kind of, I don't know, club-looking foot that he had from the original toys.
From that vicious chop. It's cinched in. He's going for the submission. And he might get it. He's got that hold locked in. Oh, and the knee connects. This is it. Here he goes. That was just unadulterated power.
Now I'm really hoping King Hiss kicks out.
Recover. One, two. He almost
There
got
we
it
go.
right there.
Even better if Hordak argued with the ref.
What a fierce kick. Oh my, what a Samoan drop. Victory means absolutely everything to these competitors tonight.
That's a real pearl of wisdom. You got any others? Like the superstar who beats their opponent would be the winner?
There we
How
go.
about you should spend more time calling the match and less time cutting down your broadcast partner. Oh, what a vicious jab with the right. One.
It makes me wish that the AI would spend more time trying to make a good match than just trying to squash one character over another. I think the closest that I saw of that happening was my video of Avengers against the Masters of Evil. And if you saw that, of course, it didn't have that nice of an ending.
WWE superstars are all superb athletes, but they're also human beings, and there's only so much punishment a human body can take. The set time connects.
There we go. Show him your finisher.
What a kick that was.
Show him your finisher, dude.
Never ever underestimate the sheer force behind this superstar's punches. The kick connects.
Wow.
This match proves without any doubt why SmackDown, the dominant brand, in sports entertainment.
I can't help but agree, partner. You won't see action like this on Raw.
Yes, that is his finisher.
This could be three right here.
2, 3, and that's the match.
And I would like to at least clarify something with that. The first time I made Hordak was on SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain. Usually you could have up to 5 finishers stored. You didn't have the signature
It
move.
looks like they're just enough left in the
If you
tank
had
to
2
kick out
finishers,
the
you could
finish.
do that two-handed choke, throw them down while they're down. He had a Steiner recliner, specific camel clutch that he used to make them submit. On this game, that camel clutch is actually it's actually a signature and not the finisher. So thanks a lot for watching. Peace.